Alright, part 9 of What of Naruto was what if Naruto only loved one person slash what if Naruto what if Naruto got what was became rogue, yeah. What if slash Naruto became rogue? And we start off where Naruto, you know, they met the college. Or the wood cabin, whatever you wanna call it. Then we see Naruto. He like, okay, now Naruto, you can open your eyes. And she says, what is it? And she opens her eyes. And she sees like she sees the cabin, and she says Naruto. And he says, if you don't like it, I could do it again. And she says, no, Naruto, I love it. And he says, okay. Well, you want to take your first look inside? And she said, okay. And basically, she went inside the crib. Let me stop here. She went inside the cabin. And then when she went inside the cabin, basically Naruto, he said, I know it isn't much, but I'll get more stuff and supplies and stuff like that later on when I do some missions for someone. And she says, no, Naruto, it's fine. I really don't care where we live as long as I'm with you. And he says, thanks, Ina. She get the blushing, and then basically Naruto, he goes and he says, Hinata, I'm gonna go do a mission, or I'm gonna go do something to get us a little bit of money. Cause he don't want her to live broke. And then he just walking around random places, and he sees a person saying, if you kill, he says it's like a battle royale, or not a battle royale, but like a tournament. And whoever wins the tournament, they get 1,000, whatever Naruto currency is. And it's like a little tournament, and whoever gets first place, they get 10 million gold or whatever they got. And basically Naruto, he says, I could have easily won that battle. And he says, well, looks like getting this money for Naruto will be a breeze. And basically, he says, I would like to enter the tournament. And he says, kid. He says, kid, what's your name? And he says, Naruto. And he says, last name? He says, I don't have one. And he says, what a strange kid. And basically, Naruto, it's like this super tough or big buff dude, and nobody hasn't beat him. And yeah, he like big and he buff. He undefeated. He been winning money after money after money, and this the highest it's ever been. At first it was like 10,000, 1,000, stuff like that, small prices. Now it's like 10 million. He trying to win it. And basically, he says, when did the tournament start? He says, well, you'll be fighting. He says, you'll be fighting Rockhead, Skinny Rockhead, in, looks like 2 minutes. And he says, what do you mean 2 minutes? He says, yep, you got this match starting 2 minutes. You should go wait on that platform so you won't be late at all or counted late. And Naruto says, okay. He sits on a platform, or he goes to stand on the platform, and basically I forgot his name. I think it's Skinny Stonehead or Skinny Head Jones. Basically, that Skinny Head Jones, I'm just calling him Skinny. Skinny pops up, and he's super skinny. But they call him Sean Cat for a reason. Got a Sean Cat, and he can see like it's like a boulder in his head, or on his head. And Naruto says, okay, what a strange opponent. And basically, Naruto, he says, okay, are you ready for this fight, man? And he says, you're gonna lose. No one has ever defeated me in my last tournament. I was undefeated. To think I'm fighting a weakness like you. And the practitioner says, fight! And Naruto blitzes Skinny Bone Jones. And I'm gonna say they could kill. And he stabbed him in the stomach. And Skinny Bone Jones said, he fell unconscious. And basically after he fell unconscious, Naruto is the winner, Skinny Bone Jones is, and they throw him to the side. Then we do 2-hour time skip. Or no, we do 15-minute time skip. Naruto goes to a second match. It's 3 matches. Naruto goes to a second match, and so does the big buff dude. Naruto finished the match in 3 seconds. As he does the same thing like he did to Skinny Bone Jones. To Rock Arm Rocky. Yeah. And basically he claps Rock Arm Rocky. And basically after he clapped him, he just after Naruto clapped him. Sorry for that. After Naruto clapped him, we see what's his name? The big buff dude. He moves up to the third base, and so does Naruto. And he says, kid, you might as well forfeit. And he says, no, I don't forfeit. I don't know who told you. He says, I don't know who told you about forfeiting, but that's not me. And Naruto, he says, are you ready to get your butt handed to you? And the super buff dude, I'm just giving him a name. Buffy. I'm calling him Buffy. Buffy, basically. Actually, no, that sounds too much like Luffy or Luffy. Basically, Naruto, he's like, okay, border shoulders. Yeah, he says, okay, border shoulders. And basically Naruto, he says, let's get this match over with. And the practitioner says, fight. And Naruto blitzes. He blitzes Skinny Bones. But he blitzes Buffy. I'm just calling him the buff man. He blitzes the buff dude, and he stabs him in his stomach, and he like goes up with his kunai, like up to his neck, and it like spills out his guts out and falls on the floor. Naruto says, well, looks like I won. And Naruto said, and the practitioner says, we have a new winner, Naruto Uzumaki, as he's just defeated the champion of champions, who's been champions for 3 years. Give him a round of applause, will you? And everybody, yeah, woo! Finally, that bastard's gone. He stole all my money. And he says, well, Naruto says, where's my 10 million? And practitioner says, kid, that was just a joke for everybody to end. Naruto says, what the hell I forgot, I said this 18 plus. Naruto says, what the hell do you mean it's a joke? He says, the winner only gets 1 million. We just wanted 10 million so people could join. And he says, 1 million. Naruto, he looks at the practitioner and says, that won't be enough. I need 5 or at least 10. And the practitioner says, okay, we'll give you it since you won. And Naruto says, then why did you fake it out if you had the money? And they said, basically they said, well, we don't want to give away all our money, but you look scary, so here you go. Gave him the 10 million. And basically Naruto, he started walking back to Hinata. he walking back to Hinata, and he says, with a big old bag of money, and a bunch of bandits pop out as he about to cross the bridge to Hinata's house, and he says, "Listen here, kid. You see that house right there?" And they point at his house. He says, "We have a hostage inside." And he says, "If you walk any further, we'll kill that hostage unless you give us all that money." And Naruto says, "You have my girlfriend trapped inside, huh?" And he grabs his gun. Or, why did I say he grabbed his gun? I'm playing a shooting game right now. That's why I said that. He grabs his... Actually, yeah. Nah. He grabbed his gun. And he... Boom, boom, boom. It's 3 of them bandits. He popped 3 of them in the head. He popped all 3 of them in the head. And basically, they just fell to the ground. They died. And Naruto rushes in the house. And the bandit, he's about to, hold on. He's about to force himself on Hinata. And she's like crying, saying, "No, please." She's crying, saying, no, please. I'll give you anything. And he said, "This is what I want." And Naruto says, "This is not what I want." He drops the gun. He pulls out his 9-tails eyes. He pulls out his 9-tails chains. His Uzumaki chains, sorry. He pulls out his Uzumaki chains from his from his at the end of your spine. Yeah. Basically, they come out right there and infused with Kurama chakra. And Naruto, he and he dies. He doesn't die. He gets his hand and he shakes him to the wall. And Naruto, he just flying, or he floating. He can fly. I'm not sure if I say he can fly, but he can fly. But he's floating on the ground. Or levitating on the ground. He's levitating on the ground. And he says, he don't say anything. He put Uzumaki chain in his boy hand, both of his hands, both of his feet. And he says, "I'll make you suffer for trying to do that." Basically, you know how Naruto tried to get the hatred out of Kurama? Yeah, basically, that's how his eyes turn. And Hinata, she's seen this move before. It's basically when he attacked the village. Yeah. And she says, "Naruto, please, you can't go into that form. You'll kill more people and we'll be separated again." And Naruto, he erases those eyes. But he still has the Kurama eyes. And they're still blood red. And he says, "Okay, Naruto." He sliced that man's neck off and threw him off the window. But he buried him. Or he don't bury him. He threw him somewhere far so it won't be him. Oh yeah, that was him. Nah. So basically, Naruto, he says, "I'm so sorry, Hinata, that I wasn't here to protect you." And she stands up and says, "No, Naruto, it's fine." As he says, "No, it's not. I should have been here to protect you. And yet, I was out doing something else that wasn't including you." And she says, "No, Naruto, please don't blame yourself for this." And she says, "It's my fault. I let them in. Or I opened the door." And Naruto says, "Hinata, it's fine. He says, "Hinata, it's fine. And she says, "Okay, Naruto, thank you." And he says, "No, Hinata." Oh yeah, he said, "No, Hinata, thank you." He says, "Okay, Hinata." And basically he says, Naruto says, "Well, I got us the money, and I want to move to a place more deserted, and I'll build us a house with all the money we have, and I'll make it up to your liking." And she says, "No, Naruto, this place is fine." And Naruto says, he says, "Why do you always do that?" He says, "Every time something wrong happens, you're still happy." And he's crying. He's like, "Every time something wrong happens, you're still happy." And he says, "How can you be so happy? How can you be so happy, Hinata, after what almost just happened to you?" And she says, "Naruto, is because," and she says, "It's because I'm with you." And Naruto says, "No, no, no, no. That's not fair." And she says, "What's not fair?" She says, "You have, um, you have happiness after every incident that happens, and all you say is you just have me. Something's wrong, Hinata." And basically, she says, "What do you mean, Naruto-kun?" And basically, she say, or he say, "I just want to be happy. I don't want to have to live in war constantly and keep fighting everyone that comes to me just because something that I couldn't control happened." And he says, "It's not my fault." And basically, he's like, "It's not my fault. Why do I have to be punished for something that I couldn't control?" And she says, "Naruto, honestly," she says, "Naruto, honestly, you shouldn't push yourself like that. You might get a stress headache." And he says, "Hinata, I won't get no stress headache." And she says, "Oh, okay, Naruto." And she says, "But Naruto, I still want to live here." And he says, "Why?" And she says, "Because we haven't made any memories yet." And basically, he says, "We don't need any memories." And she says, "Naruto, what happened to you?" He says, "What do you mean?" And she says, "You're so gloomy now." And he says, "Well, sorry, Hinata. It's not my fault that the nine tails beast had to take over my body and make me this way." And she says, "Naruto, that's not what I meant." And he says, I know. He sighs and he says, "I just need to think." And he goes outside and sits down. And I'm gonna say, in his head, he don't know what he thinking. He just like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? Should I do this? He don't know what to do. He hesitating. He don't know if he should kill himself or keep living. And basically, he screams and he walks inside the house. And she says, "Naruto, you okay?" And after she says, "Naruto, are you okay?" He not oh my god. After she said, "Naruto, are you okay?" Naruto smiled and says, "I'm fine, Hinata. How about you?" And she says, um, um "I'm fine too." Cause she like, how can a man just be so nice? I mean, angry and gloomy to somebody so nice. And she says, "Thank you, Naruto." And he says, "For what?" And she says, for being here. Thank you for everything. And he says, oh no, Hinata. Thank you. And after he says thank you, she's like, she says no thank you. And he said no thank you. And they just saying thank you. Now I just start thinking. Walk up to Hinata to give a kiss on the lips. And he breaks the kiss and says thank you, Hinata. And he hugs her. Super, super tight. She don't care. She don't care that she like half dead and can't breathe. There's Naruto hugging her super tight. All she cares is that she cares that that they still love each other. That's all they care. And yeah. And basically, we're gonna say after that, Naruto. What is this? Oh, sorry. That was after that. Basically, Naruto. He says, Hinata. I think I said they was 18 at this time, and y'all probably like. Actually, I ain't even gonna say it because that's gonna run a surprise. They're like 18, 20 at this time. And he says, Hinata, you make me so happy. And after he says, Hinata, you make me so happy, she says, you too, Naruto. I'm gonna say Naruto, he kisses Hinata. And they start like kissing like rapidly. And basically, while they kissing rapidly, I'm gonna say he picking her up. So he picked her up, took it to the bed, He laid on the bed, start kissing some more. They kissing some more. He took off his shirt. He took off her shirt. Yeah. She took off her shirt, then she took off her drawers, whatever you want to call them. And then basically, after she took out her after she took out her drawers, basically, I mean not her drawers, she took out her leg thingies, majiggish, her pants. And she took off her shirt. And basically Naruto, he's like, dang! He started gripping her booty and he's like, super, 18 plus part. Oh, I forgot to say that. Man, 18 plus part. And basically, he says, man, he started gripping Hinata's booty. And I'm gonna say that she's let me see. She is I'm gonna say not that she started moaning, and I'm gonna say what's her name? Naruto, he took off his drawers, and basically after Naruto took off them drawers, he had to take off hers. He took off her drawers. So Naruto, he was boner, and then basically she took off her shirt. I mean her bra, and yeah, she fully naked. So is my boy Naruto, and they just under the cover. And Naruto, he says, I'm gonna say the first time this time it was an accident. Where this is basically, he slips it in without even knowing. And she screams. And she says, Naruto, slow down, that hurts. And he says, what do you mean? And she says, Your thing is in me. And basically, as she says, your thing is in me. Naruto says, whoa, baby Bella, it is? He's grabbing it, and he says, sorry, Hinata. And he says, I'll go slow. And he started like up, down, or down, up, not up, down. He said like down, up. And basically he says, Hinata, you feel so good. Ooh, wow, you feel super good, Hinata. And she's moaning like super fucking loud. And Naruto, he's panting and shit. Basically, this is their first time, but they enjoying it like hell. But they enjoying it. They enjoying it like it's fucking them. You fucking lobsters. So basically, Izuku, he says, Izuku, he's like, Naruto, he's like beating the cheeks. He's like, this might be my new favorite thing to do to you, Naruto. And she says, Naruto, stop talking and just do it. And he says, Hinata, I'm about to ejaculate. And he says, I don't care. Okay, do it inside me. He ejaculates inside of her. And basically, and he's beating the cheeks. Or after he ejaculates, basically, Naruto, she's like, she got that that sloppy face, or like her eyes are rolled up and her tongue is pulled out, or it's out, and basically Naruto's feeling it's pouring all out, and she says, Naruto, I come from my womb filled up with a hot, steamy, and basically after that, basically Naruto says, he says, Hinata, I love doing this. I don't know why we didn't start earlier. And she says, because we were too young. And he says, now we're not. He says, no, we're not. And basically he says, well, we need to get you cleaned up. And basically he get her to the shower. He turned the shower on. She's still in the bed, twitching. So he's turned the shower on. Then after he turned the shower on, he makes sure it's just right. Cause she like his stuff scorching hot. You know that one person in the shower, he like his stuff too hot. That's me, bro. So basically, he put his water. He put the water on like 75 or 80 degrees. Oh no, 90 degrees. He put his stuff on 90 degrees. And then after he put his stuff on 90 degrees, basically, he says, he's like, hopefully, this will be good enough for Hinata. So he says, Hinata, let's get you cleaned up. And she goes in there. He picks her up. She's still dripping. He put her in the tub, and she tries to stand up. Well, he sets her down, and she doesn't stand up, and she falls on her ass. She falls on her ass, and she says, "Oh." And Naruto says, and this outside of Naruto, this way he thinking, "Oh man, I really feel bad for her." This in his mind. Boy, build up cheeks out. Woo-hoo. So basically, and yeah, he's just cleaning her up. But after he thinks that in his head, and he's just cleaning her up. And she says, Naruto, that was the best time of my life. And Naruto says, me too. And he grabs her waist and says, are you trying to do that again? And she says, no. She says, no, I'm exhausted. And Naruto says, Oh, okay. Now I told you not exhausted because he tan it up. So basically, he picks Hinata up and she says, I can't walk on Naruto. And he says, she says, I know, I just like doing this. He lays her on the bed, and she gets the cover. She gets the cover. Now they take off the sheet, and they put a new sheet on there. And basically, Naruto basically says, well, he says, well, Hinata, would you have to do that more often? And she says, yes, I would. She says, yes, I would. That's how you can hear that. And Naruto says, me too. Naruto says, me too. And basically, after she says, me too, Naruto says, oh yeah, he get happy.
I use my cloak.
He get happy. And basically Naruto, he get happy. And she says, oh, you must be excited. And Naruto says, no. He says, no, I'm not so excited. Just surprised, that's all. And basically Naruto, in the inside, he not no surprise. I can keep won the lottery at $1 gazillion. Yeah. So basically Naruto and Hinata, they cuddle up and they go to sleep. This episode probably 4 or 5 of them. Nah. Basically Naruto he grabbing the waist while he cuddling Hinata. And Hinata says, Naruto, I would like to do that again tomorrow. Naruto says, me too. Super happy. Naruto says, me too. And basically, after he says, me too, Hinata says, no, actually, never mind. I might just want to go to sleep tomorrow. And that's he says. And he's like, God damn it, man. And basically, Naruto says, at least I got me some today. And after he says, at least I got me some today, he says, maybe I will get me some tomorrow. Never know. And basically, him and Hinata, they go to sleep. After him and Hinata go to sleep. Oh, actually no. He go to sleep, and basically him and Hinata wake up. And when I wake up, basically, let me pause it. And basically, they wake up, and Naruto gets up before Hinata, and he says, I'm gonna